Good morning and welcome back to the Summergeddon Super Slam Series. My name is Stu and with me today is Sean.
Howdy, how's everyone doing today?
Good morning. All right, so this morning we have a great match for you here. We have Cyclic Shifts as our scenario. It is an Ossiarch Bonereapers and Gloomspite Gitz list, mostly focused on trolls. This is going to be a real fun matchup here. The durability of Ossiarch versus the regenerative powers of trolls should be really fun to watch.
Absolutely.
So here we have Terry Mosier's list. This is Gloomspite Gitz. He's using Trogherd's AOR. He's using Intercept and Recover and Wrathful Cycles. Intercept and Recover here is the one with the 3 treasure tokens that we've seen earlier this weekend. And Wrathful Cycles is our controlling objectives, where we can control various objectives here on the board. In his army, he has General's Regiment. He has Trug, of course, a Dankhold Trogboths with the Crunchy Shinies and the Loonstone Teeth enhancements, 2 units of reinforced Troggoths, Rockgut Troggoths, and then in another regiment, another Dankhold Trogboths, and 2 more units of unreinforced Rockgut Troggoths. That's a lot of trolls, Sean.
Mm-hmm. That's quite a few. Not a single goblin, I don't think.
Nope. He's using the Trogherd's AOR, though, so I don't think that's to his advantage.
That's right.
But it's interesting not to see any Fell Waters.
Oh, yeah, it's all pure Rockguts or Dankholds here, or Trog, of course.
Yep. Now, of course, Trogherd is, it doesn't let them use the Face of the Moon ability here anymore for the Gitz, but it does allow now all of Trogherd's Leyline abilities to affect the entire table rather than units wholly within 12 inches.
Huge buff.
Yep. And it looks like Terry's not using any of the new Scourge of Gyran stuff, so he's just sticking with the classics. All right, Brent Nuamann's Ossiarch Bonereapers list here. He's using the Mortisan Council subfaction here, using Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy. Intercept and Recover, as we've said, of course, is the 3 treasures. A very popular pick this season, I think. And Restless Energy here is our... excuse me, here he's using our scenarios here that he's using where he is converting objectives and making sure that they are taken care of here on this. So it looks like both of them are trying to kill and then control a lot on both sides. Sean, what does this army look like to you?
This army looks like it has a lot of Death Riders, so it looks like it can take the board, take a lot of board control really fast, kind of stuff you in to a place that you don't want to be, but at the same time they have the board control, so they can just kind of outflank or outmaneuver you. Yeah, it should be pretty interesting because the trolls are somewhat slow compared to this cavalry here. I think they move about 6 inches or 8 inches across the whole army.
Yeah, the trolls aren't particularly quick.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe not come up much in this match, but the Aura of Sterility on the Mortisan Soulmason is definitely a top-tier pick for Ossiarch right now. And with 20 Death Riders and as well as 4 Morghasts, this is going to be a tough list.
Definitely. Those reinforced Morghasts are nothing to sniff at.
Yeah, as we saw yesterday here with Dan O'Day's list, the Archive will get a lot of work done here. And, of course, the Mortisan Soulmason and Catacross are also some of the stuff we saw yesterday. Basically, if the title on your unit is a Mortarch, you're doing pretty good in life. Or unlife.
Right.
All right, so they're setting up here. This is Cyclic Shifts here, as we had talked about. Cyclic Shifts is a very straightforward kind of scenario here, where you get 5 points for controlling 1 objective, 3 points for controlling 2, and 2 points for controlling more objectives than your opponent. The only twist is that at the beginning of the round, an underdog can choose any pair, either the greens or the reds, to shut off these objectives. And I don't believe those colors are in the right places.
Yeah, it looks like the red and the red and the bottom middle needs to be swapped with this green.
Yep. So we'll see if here we can get them to interrupt here real fast.
Yep.
Normally, we do not want to interfere with players playing their games. However, the game has not yet started, and this is a very fundamental problem here to the scenario, so we want to make sure this is dealt with.
Right. This is something that can be cleaned up real easily in the beginning. So, luckily, no dice have been thrown, to my knowledge, or anything.
We're still
like
in the middle of we're still in the middle of drops, so we can just quickly subs this out. So small mistake. It's a new feature for this general's handbook, so it's an easy mistake to make if you're not paying attention.
Yeah. This.
So blue goes, yep, in the no, this is that. Yeah, that's the next one.
Apologies, looking at the wrong map here.
We got excited. Sorry, folks.
There we go. They've got it all.
There
sorted.
we go. That's much nicer. So the underdog at the beginning of the round has the option to shut off either pair, either the red or the green, to where neither people can control or contest them or score them. So any abilities that require you to control or not control an objective basically don't count for those.
It's new. It's new stuff. Absolutely.
Yep. It's a new feature here that our objectives have symbols and circles here, so it's an easy mistake for anyone to have made here. As we've said, this is one of the first major events that we've seen, at least in the Midwest, that have been using the new General's Handbook, so it's a little bit of a learning process for everybody here.
Right. This mission's particularly interesting because it kind of favors the player going first with more speed in a way, because you can go first, potentially put yourself in the position for the underdog, and then shut off 2 objectives based on where you're sitting on the board and where your opponent is, of course.
And also, especially with this matchup here, Brent has a really good chance here of being able to just use his Cavalos Death Riders to just lock Terry into a position to where maybe he doesn't kill all of Terry's stuff, but he prevents them from getting somewhere much further up the board than where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Just turning off the value of certain units based on where they're sitting on the table.
Just because they're not dying doesn't mean that you're not controlling them.
Right.
All right. We're just going ahead and here, and we're waiting for them to drop here. It looks like the Cavalos Death Riders and Special K are getting dropped here. There, of course, the reinforced unit in the middle, and the 2 singular units here on the flanks. Interesting to note that neither of them have brought. Well, the AOR you cannot bring the Loonspite, the Loon Shrine, but the Bonereapers Nexus is also not making an appearance here.
Yeah, we've seen that the Bone Tithe hasn't really been worth the footprint it brings to your deployment zone in certain cases.
I definitely understand if you haven't been playing around it, the juice may not be worth the squeeze on that.
Right.
And of course, Mortisan Council here is being used as a subfaction for Ossiarch Bonereapers. And that is a Dinkel Trug boss, not the other model here that it represents, just so folks know at home and it's not confusing. And we're getting chat live here, so if you have been chatting here, we apologize. We'll be seeing it here shortly. And the Mortisan Council subfaction here is going to allow +1 to his casting rolls here. It's going to be a big deal here for the Baba Yaga here on the Ossiarch Bonereaper side.
Definitely some huge value, especially with the Soul Guide coming out of him.
Yep, Strike First is very clutch. I think it's been kind of underrated here in this season so far is the amount of the effects of Strike First and Strike Last, but it's gaining popularity.
Yeah, you're starting to see it pop out more units. It's a little more common of a rule to find in your army books. It looks like the reinforced Morghast are going down in the center next to the reinforced block of Death Riders, making this really hard to move center formation here on the OBR side.
Yep, it looks like a very standard kind of a deployment here on this. But of course, with the +2 movement here, the Morghast can probably go easily over to right flank here with very little problem.
Absolutely. They basically got dealer's choice of the table with their fly movement.
Yeah. It's also interesting to note that the flank Cavalos Rider def units here are actually deploying a little conservatively here. They're not right on the line, perhaps trying to hedge a bet here against going second.
Right. Yeah, they don't want to be called out that minimum squads are kind of made for taking objectives and doing tactics more so than lifting units, especially if your opponent plays something, especially like Rock Guts on the opposing flank that's especially hard to shift with just a small unit.
Yeah, especially and with the relatively high damage output that Rock Guts have too, it could be dangerous here on this. And good morning, Julius. Yep, and good luck to Brent Nuamann here on Ossiarchs from him. and we're going to be doing well. Brent's sounding a little nervous here, but he is, he should. There's nothing he should really be worried about here. He should be very confident in his abilities. Well, we're going ahead and waiting for them to set up here. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to some of our sponsors here. First off, we want to thank M.A.W for our lovely friendly local game store here in Springfield, Missouri. They've graciously allowed us to host here, and they are a wonderful store. Come out and see us here and maybe introduce yourself, learn a little bit about the hobby. Also, we'd like to give a shout out here to Gray Matter Games. They provide neoprene objectives as well as mats. In fact, I believe the mat you're seeing here today is a Gray Matter Games mat. They help bring your battles to life. Starforged also is one of our sponsors here. Starforged make wonderful jewelry and Warhammer licensed accessories. So if you want to bring a little extra bling to yourself and riz yourself up a little bit, look at Starforged. They have some great objects here for sale. And then finally, of course, we have Artist Opus is one of our featured sponsors. Artist Opus make the finest brushes here known around here. They make excellent products here, and they will absolutely help up your hobby game. Here's a tool. And Brent is taking first now that we're fully deployed.
Yeah, it looks like
both players here, top of one, both at 4 CP, and they're going to each assign their treasure tokens here to each other.
It looks like the Gloomspite player is choosing all 3 of his Trog heroes to be the treasure for this.
Yep, looks like both Trog bosses and Trug will be his treasure tokens. They're just walking through their various objectives here right now. Yep. Thanks, Captain Julian. And we absolutely understand here that one of the Nuamann brothers here is overseas here and couldn't be with us here in person. We're glad and thank you for your service. We do have Brent and his brother Jeff here today, as well as the father of the Nuamann clan, all here in attendance today. Everyone's having a great time. So +1 save to the left Cavalos, the center Cavalos, and the Morghasts.
Is that from the Big K?
Yep, that's one of Big K's abilities there in the hero phase.
Ooh, it looks like we're casting an Ender spell.
Casting the Bone Tithe Shrieker, I believe.
Ah, the Shrieker.
Yep.
It looks like it.
I'm not sure that's going to cast. Maybe
that's a
cast.
7 + 3.
7. Okay, I couldn't see the leftmost die there. That is a 6. So all right. Looks like it's going out there. Terry, of course, having no natural wizards here on the match, it's going to make it difficult here until he can get to the center of the board to have a place of power. Bone Tithe Shrieker is a good strong selection here this early in the game, as it will allow him to worsen those word saves here on the Troggoths. That'll help put the kibosh, hopefully, on a couple of those ward saves and maybe some of the regenerative abilities.
Definitely. Any damage you can get through on these Trolls, you have to take, especially in this one because they don't have the Loon Shrine to come back from. They're just relying on rallies and their own natural regeneration.
Exactly. All right, and that's the end of the hero phase here for Brent. Catagros is invoking his +2 movement for his Relentless Discipline ability. Everyone is within the very generous bubble here that Catagros has. Catacross, despite his base, is not a monster but an infantry model. One of the biggest infantry models in the game. Most people mistake him for a monster, but it's not true.
It's the size. It's his posse. That rock he's standing on really tricks your eyes.
Correct. He's an entire diorama in one piece.
Yeah. Now the +2 movement makes the Death Riders move up to 10 inches. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct here. We can double check that.
Yeah.
No, that kicks them actually to 12 inches.
Oh.
So these guys can really zip. For the normally more slow and methodical. Yep, thank you, Connor. Yep, I agree. 12 inches here. Looks like Jeff's trying to create a small barrier here on the right. Just to tag the rightmost here objective. And the big Cavalos here moving up. Moving up slightly to the left here. Oh, maybe not. Brent's rethinking.
About it. There's a lot of trolls in front of him.
Yeah. His movement, especially in this first phase, is going to be really important to find lines of scrimmage.
Absolutely. You got to watch out because he's put himself in the potential to be doubled, but as long as his placement is okay, the 6-inch move of the Trog's base should not catch him too much.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out. But yeah, placement is going to be vitally important, especially in these early rounds. There we go. Brent just making sure here that his position is correct so that he can't necessarily get flanked by too many of the Trogs at once. And of course, because they've both chosen the intercept and recover tactic here, doubling has an additional hazard here with them, as if either of them double the other, they have the option to remove one of the treasure tokens from their units, making doubling already a risky prospect an even riskier one. They're just having a quick discussion here, I believe, about Trug's abilities.
Is it for the lodestone?
Yes, and he's clarifying that it's during his hero phase.
I see.
And I would confirm it, but honestly, I don't have access to the battle tome. And there's the Baba Yaga just coming up here, making sure that he can keep casting Soul Guide and or Empower Nadrite weapons. Catacross running up 5 here to be solidly planted here on the center green objective.
Nice. You see the OBR player has kind of basically just moved up his deployment into this semicircle, tagging the bottom left objective and still holding his center deployment objective of course, and then also tagging the bottom right blue with that other minimum squad of Death Riders, kind of just being exactly where he needs to without overcommitting the units too much.
Yep, trying to invite Terry, I think, into trying to either overextend or just put himself in a little more forward position before he alpha strikes. Terry going into 3 CP here to redeploy. To redeploy the rightmost 6-man deploy. And that's a 4, so that'll put him onto the objective there.
Oh, wow.
So moving up just a skosh more than that. There we go. Good use of the tools there for Terry. And Terry being very precise here, using that die to know exactly where the 4 mark is. There we go, shuffling on up. And Terry very smart to redeploy here, trying to deny Brent those initial 2 more points there for more objectives. So no shots, no charges. So we are at the end of the first 10. Here we have 8 points, I believe, for Brent. So 8 points for Brent here on this first turn, as no techs have been scored just yet. All right. Terry's hero phase. And rolling for the malfunctioning Laystone. And there's the 6.
That's what you want.
All right, 5-up ward here for all the heroes.
Yep. A huge buff. Basically puts them on the same playing field as the Rock Guts.
All right,
But
normally it'd be very restrictive in Gloomspite Gitz is to be wholly within 12, but because of the AOR, it affects the entire table now.
of course, yeah. The big upside of playing this.
Yeah. It is certainly the big attraction here towards playing it. So Terry's weighing his options here, trying to figure out quite how he wants to do it here, and worrying about possible doubles. All right, so we're done with hero phase here. Obviously very simple for the Trogs. The Trogs like to keep it simple. Very much a KISS kind of army. And the Trogus here moving up. Terry moving up Trug. While Terry's resolving some of these movement here, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, the Army Painter. The Armor Painter makes great paints, whether you're talking about the speed paints for quick coverage or Fanatic paint lines for a more traditional acrylic paint. The Army Painter has you covered. Go ahead and check them out at thearmypainter.com. And now the rightmost Trogs trying to capitalize here on that early redeployment. Nickel Trogboss running for 2 more, so running for a total of 8 inches. Trying to keep up here with his posse. So what to do about Blue Squad here? All right, trying to take the more obscure route here around the blue house. Possibly trying to make sure that not everything gets charged next turn. But where's that last Trog boss going? Oh, and they just realized that they've jumped the hero phase completely here, and we're going to rewind real quick.
Is Brent potentially doing an
magical intervention, perhaps? Yeah. He's weighing options here real quick, but he does need to get the option. All right. I'm going to try and cast Soul Glide on the Ossiarchs. Got it on boxcars. Nicely done. So if he tries to go for the more gas here, they will be first strike. The truck must be over there.
Huge defensive buff. Yep. Really keeps your opponent thinking if you want to charge that reinforced block.
Absolutely here. All right, no redeploys done, so that's movement done into shooting. So only the front 3 there are going to be able to throw. Let's see if they can huck a rock. Two damage into the Cavalist Death Riders.
Big ward.
Taking both of them here, they bypass the wards. All right, 3 more rocks here into the Morghasts. 1 hit. So it looks like that saves. They're just going through here the machinations here of the Ossiarch.
That +1 to save is already paying off, it seems.
Yep. Hard for it not to.
Right, yeah.
All right. Terry weighing out his charge odds here.
He's got a couple long bombs he could make. Of course, the big fight first block in the middle is terribly scary to go into right now. But
yeah,
that flank charge, definitely he wants.
Yeah, but I would definitely hesitate to charge into those Morghast.
Yeah.
Look, he's going for it here.
And
And with an 11.
Big 11. Wow.
You know, sometimes the dice just say, sure, why not?
Yeah. Such a generous move.
It's always fun to see a 6-inch unit move and then charge 11 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Terry just learning about the Bone-Tie Shrieker.
Yeah. That -1 to ward save across the rock guts that rely on that ward save pretty much.
Yeah, it is -1 to ward save here across that. Of course, it also has a few ranged and melee attacks as well.
Naturally.
But while you're just within 12 of that manifestation, so those rock guts will definitely get hit. Brent trying to politely invite him into the center, and Terry not taking the bait.
Yep. Yeah, he won't fall for it.
Yeah. All right, so Terry is at 3 CP, excuse me, and looking at his odds here, just trying to see how he wants to do this. All right, and he's going to, as the kids say, raw dog this attack. And Brent is spending one of his 2 remaining CP here to all-out defense. Oh, he is gonna do all-out attack on all-attack. Oh, so he used an all-out attack here on Terry Mosier. Terry Mosier tried to all-out attack, but got denied by Catacross. What a dirty maneuver here.
That's Spymaster.
Oh, and less than ideal here on the dice.
Kind of a low hit, but maybe the 2 wounds will clean it up.
Unfortunately, destruction does work like that sometimes.
Right.
Save 2, 6, take 2, so 6 damage here into his ward saves. Saves 2, so, yep. 2 horses going down.
Well, that went pretty well for the Death Riders, if I might say.
I think you could ask for a lot worse.
Yeah, I really thought the whole unit was about to get deleted, but those 4s to hit, and then the Spymaster coming in and taking away that all-out attack really hindered those Rock Guts output.
Big. But at least now, because the command was never spent, the Troggus are not -1 to their save because the command did not execute.
That's definitely an upside.
All right. So exploding 6s here, of course, because Nadrite weapons. 4 6s, 3 misses, which means he's going to net 1 on his conversion. Nicely done.
Love to see that.
Ossiarch crits still continuing to pay dividends this weekend. Seven hits coming in. Rend 2. So needing 6s here to save, only makes 1 damage each, excuse me. So 1 Trog goes down.
Yeah. I believe that was straight to the ward roll after all of the Ren that the Death Riders have.
Yeah. Having the Cavalos Death Riders having anti-charge definitely helps.
Yeah, that hidden anti-charge on a cavalry unit is pretty insane.
It's
sometimes.
sneaky. But I will say, Terry taking it like a true sportsman, like he's a real champ there.
Yeah. He won't get fooled again.
Yep. All right. Having a quick discussion here about this stuff and looking for things in the end phase, as I believe we're out of fights. While they're discussing this, we'll just go ahead and we'll just discuss one of our sponsors here.
We've got Green Stuff World here. They have all kinds of sculpting material, gaming widgets. I think they have all kinds of hobby stuff too. Huge stuff. I buy a lot of stuff from Green Stuff World. They've got base toppers, full bases, resin. I believe it's just greenstuffworld.com, as I believe what it is.
And Terry has won the prio roll, but is choosing not to double. So -1 to rend for the next 2 turns against Trogs. That might put the kibosh on a couple of things here, make it a little tougher to get damage through on them.
Definitely need that. With everything they got to put damage through, anything to stop it will go.
Yeah. We'll have to see if exploding 5s and 6s can carry the Nadrite weapons through here. So Catacross handing out his saves, and Terry declaring him pays the place power here. So 4 CP here in the new round for both players. Yes, and using a command point here for that +1 save here to 3 units of his choice. All right, casting Soul Guide here on the Morghast on a
roll.
10. Terry saving that Unbind here to try and banish the manifestation.
That was
unfortunately does not cast the +1 attack spell.
Yeah.
So needing a 7 and only a 4 on the banish roll.
That is huge.
Rough.
For the OBR.
Yeah. I will take most of them to a 6-up ward. Brent asking some questions here, trying to do the math here on how he can take out Trug. Tough shot, but he might have a chance at it.
Yeah, it's rough because Trug's in such a position where if you try to go for him, you can get closed in on by the rest of the units. I mean, pretty much from the left side and the not really right side, but the left side definitely has 2 units up there that could close in on whatever. And OBR being so elite, you got to be careful where you commit each unit.
True. Trogoth healing from last round here, a little catch-up mechanic here. But yeah, you're right. If the reinforced Cavalos move over to the left here, or I guess the Archai can move in there, and the Cavalos, and they can create a nice little pincer moment here. But you're right, the Trog boss and the reinforce here, but they could then get counter-flanked by the other Cavalos. And then it just comes down to kind of a dice exercise.
Right. The Archai really exercising that fly ability and that huge movement that they get. Just cross from the center to any point of the table, do whatever they want.
Yeah. This is a very mobile Ossiarch Bonereapers list. Just scooching them right in front of those Troggoths. Anticipating what's about to happen here. Bone-Tide Shrieker is going to go ahead and looks like it's going to scooch. It does have an 8-inch move, trying to make sure it positions its 12-inch aura here in the right place.
Definitely. That 12, it's just within 12, not wholly within, correct?
Yes, it's just within 12.
Such a huge aura coming off that kind of, it's a pretty small oval when you look at the grand scheme of everything, but 12 inches off that long oval can really touch a huge amount of the board at once.
Exactly. Yep. Brent just making sure that he can touch all the relevant units here on the table so far.
Yeah. And at the same time, if the Trog player wants to come in and counter, he has to charge into that range essentially and take that
and weather that storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, missing that banishment roll was a huge deal for him. And Special K bringing up the rear here with his Morrison friend. Terry making some of his own calculations. All right, the lone remaining unengaged Cavalos unit here, scooting up. And deciding that rather than trying to engage, but rather than trying to actually engage here, they're just being a little coy about stuff, probably looking for the counter charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's very smart posing them back like that.
Yeah, exactly here. Definitely keeping that as a secret tool that they'll use later.
Yeah, it's better to hold on to them rather than, sure, he could go up and tie up that left corner, but they probably won't come out of that fight, and you really want to get some more value out of that minimum squad.
Absolutely.
It's only round 2, of course.
Yeah, it is a truism of AOS that you'd rather be charging than charged, for the most part. Some armies and some units, like Lumineth Wardens, would much rather you charge, but...
For sure.
Brent trying to figure out if it's worth retreating here and going through those Trogs. Terry warning that he's probably redeploying Trug here as soon as his movement's done. All right, redeploy for Trug is going live. A 4-inch redeploy. That's not bad.
Really good.
Not sure it's enough to save Trug necessarily, but it's definitely good.
It might take some heat off of him. Not sure how much, but the Morghast still get to charge. They might still get all their attacks in, of course.
But that might crucially take Trug out of the anti-ward bubble.
That's true. We'll have to find out.
Nope. As Brent was trying to make sure that these Troggoth to the right were, and it looks like it's just a skosh out. Yeah, looks like they're confirming here, and it's just out of the aura. So,
yeah, that 4
Terry
inches is
managing
exactly what he needed.
Yep, Terry rolling just what he needed in order to move forward here on this. Wonderful. Oh, they're double checking.
Yeah.
They're double checking here. Super close. They're having a bit of a concern. They're discussing here, and so it looks like they're just going to go ahead and adjust that redeploy a little bit, just so the intent is clear to be outside of that aura. And again, remember that is an important lesson in AOS, is that this is a collaborative effort, even though it is a competitive event.
Yep, absolutely. It's great to see the players talking out that just a small issue, really, easily resolved.
Clear and communicate with each other. So, rolling 2 hits here with his range attack from the Shrieker. The only range attack the army has currently. So, 1 save. So 3 damage into them. 6 up ward onto the Trugs. None. So 3 damage into the Rock Guts. Terry considering here the counter shot. And Terry considering his options here because this is just the top of round 2 here, so he's got a long time to go here. He's got to make these CP stretch.
Yeah, already spending 1 CP this turn on that redeploy, dropping him down to 3 CP. He's got to think about his resource management from now on.
Exactly. A lot of people consider that 4 CP is overly generous, but when you remember it has to last you the entire round.
Yeah, there's no refresh.
Yep. It can be real easy to go, oh, I've spent everything already.
I feel judged. I feel 100% judged by those comments.
All right, +1 to charge here from Catacross. And 7, 8-inch charge now. And there we go, tagging both units on the 8-inch. So not everyone's getting into combat initially here, but with the pile-in, that'll probably be okay.
Yeah, the pile-in will definitely clean this up.
Brent trying to get the best he can here and there. Of course, bases and models don't exactly cover each other here, so just a little bit of a clamored effort.
Yeah, while these Morghast are beautiful models, they have such spindly arms sticking out of the bases, and the wings catch each other so much.
They go crazy. 10-inch charge here from the Cavalos. They're definitely getting where they want to be.
They might be able, with that 10-inch move, they could possibly surround onto the objective after they pile in, of course. Really
True, they could be able to charge not just into, but through the Rock Guts.
Oh, yes, I forget. It's because the Rock Guts are infantry models. Can they move
Correct.
over them? Yeah.
The only possible monsters, I believe, are Trug and the 2 Trug bosses.
That's right.
And, of course, they could convert those greens if he does enough damage here into the Rock Guts here in this combat.
Yeah, I think the Trogs have the control score advantage as we sit now, but as those Trogs start to fall in combat, you'll really start to see the shift of the OBR just have the control score over them.
Exactly. So on a D3 here, -1 or 2, so 3 damage into Wars, saving 1, taking 2. That kills 1 Trogoth. Classic Ossiarch drive-by here. And Terry learning the hard lesson here with an elite army like this, every single loss just hurts that much more.
Right. Oh. It looks like no countercharge coming from Terry's side, of course. Not really a good opportunity. Maybe that Trog boss on the left, or is that just a regular Dankhold? I'm not.
It's a Trog boss.
It's a Trog boss. All right. Yeah, maybe that Trog boss on the left, but I think they're just. I think he's saving the CP.
I don't know. I would have done it just to pin the Morghasts in place so they couldn't have piled in too far.
That's a good
mitigate
thought,
the damage to Trug.
Right.
But strike first here, and all-out defense on Trug, all-out attack on... Oh, Catacross does not deny the all-out defense, so it actually works.
It worked this time. That's very huge for Trug, actually.
So both players now down to 2 CP here. So... So here we go. Let's see some dice here from the Morghasts. Striking first. Oh, Brent is not doing all-out attack. Never mind. Excuse me. Rightly fearing the slap back from Trug. Yeah, Trug being Ren 3 and 4 damage on those swings is definitely something to give even the mighty Morghasts pause. So 3's the hit here with 6s, of course, exploding.
No 6s.
No
Wow.
crits. Ooh.
Wow.
Really missing that Empower Nadrite weapons. And then 2's the wound here.
Only dropping 1. Not bad, but really
7.
hoping for those missing explosions are. Oh.
Yeah. 7 at 5 up, 2 going through, and 3 each. So that's 15 against his ward saves here. So ward of 5 up here. So he cannot die, but he will be hurt. So that's pretty good. As we usually like to say here, most reliable save in the game, 5 up ward. So 9 damage to Trug out of 16. 7 wounds remained on Trug. Really nice initial slap here by Brent. But that, of course, was just strike first. So now we have the actual first attack, which is by the Cavalos Death Riders into... And it's going to be into the big unit here. Obviously, I think probably the right call, to be honest, here. Do as much damage to the center point here as you can before things get too out of control.
All right, if you're able to cripple this center here on the Trog, they really can't support. You kind of cut off their whole army at that point. They're really just spread out across the board with no support.
Yeah. And worst comes to it, Katakros can go in and support everything on the right flank here. Might put him out of position for some buffs, but he would probably make short work of those trolls.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure the right flank for the OBR will fall. I really thought it was going to fall last turn, but if he's lucky, the Trogs will come through and lift up those 3 Death Riders left and be in a better position to move on to a different objective.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just setting up the dice here now for... So Terry wanted to give a special shout out to Clara. Clara had painted the purple there, Drinkable Trog boss that we just saw here at only 16, which I have to admit, that's an amazing paint job for anybody at any age, let alone a 16-year-old.
Absolutely.
Great work, Clara.
Model. Absolutely
Great work.
beautiful.
And that's one of the great things about this hobby is that if you don't feel like you're just like the best tactician, that's okay. There's plenty of ways to engage with Warhammer that do not involve your tactical acumen.
Definitely. The models are just so beautiful. It really gives you the leeway to do anything you want. Expose your creativity.
Exactly. All right, so here come the Cavalos Death Riders. These are the Nadrite weapons.
Yep. It looks like the exploding 6s will kick in here.
Yep, looks like we've got, and this isn't all an attack here on the Cavalos.
That's right.
Which that makes sense. This is pretty much a go big or go home kind of moment here for him.
You want as much damage as possible pumping through on this huge Trog unit.
Yeah. So those are all hits in the dice tray, just so you know. Then we're bringing in here, and now it comes for the wound rolls here. Big 4s. Statistically, half of this pool will.
Huge bucket of dice.
Oh, that's not statistics at all.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't look good from where we're sitting.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
He's just pulling them all. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the dice. Sometimes they give it, and sometimes they take it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's hitting with all the. He's absolutely hitting with all the dice, Captain. You're right.
When all else fails, you got to bring out the dice.
Yeah. So 15 attacks went through.
Are these just these are Ren 1 or Ren 2?
Ren 1 down to Ren 0 because of the Troll's
right.
ability. So 4 up saves here.
Yeah, that really helps them out.
9 going through. Which makes that 18 damage against the 6 up now ward save for the Troglodytes because of the aura from the Shrieker here.
This is when it gets dicey.
Oh, yeah. And looks like 3 of them got saved. That is 3 of the Trogs down. That unit is...
That's rough.
Give that unit a good parking spot because it's crippled. Oh, my goodness. And we haven't even done the oofs. The oofs.
The oofs might just do more.
The oofs might lift another Troggoth quite easily. Yeah, if dice say yes and no in a certain order here. Two at 0 rend here. Both go through 1 damage each. So needing 6s here. Nope, 2 damage. 2 more damage go through. That's 3 wounds on a remainder here. So now it's Terry's turn to actually make an attack. Terry swinging in here into those last few Cavalos. Force the hit here.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Then 2s, of course. Oh, the Life of Destruction player.
Yeah.
9 damage, though, going into the Cavalos Death Riders.
Yeah, which is exactly what he needs if he fails
Right.
all the Deathless.
So any 6s means this unit will survive.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. There it is. There it is.
Wow.
1 horse left.
1 horse left. 1 wound.
Yep. One lone defiant pony.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That's kind of huge.
That was a big deal here. All right. So it's Trug's turn here because Brent is out of attacks effectively. All-out defense onto the Morghast.
Dropping Brent down to 1 CP.
Yep, Brent down to 1. And... Ooh, and dropping another one. 2 at -3 here. Oh, and saved both of them. That's so clutch.
Wow.
Second profile here. Coming in with 1 at -2, and saved.
Wow.
Ossiarch feeling invincible here.
Yeah.
And healing 1 damage. Sorry?
Didn't look good for that Chug combat. He really just, he's just getting
really
bullied
failed
by those
to.
Morghasts.
Yeah, really failed to make some meaningful gain round there.
Even with that Ren 3, Ren 2 profile, he's got the Morghasts have that +2 to save with Catacross and all-out defense. Just really cuts down the damage.
Yeah, being able to save on 4s even after Ren 2 is quite a feat.
That's huge.
This is definitely watching 2 anvils just kind of rub against each other here. And
Right.
Yep. So they're going through the math here of how stacked those Archai are.
Right.
Right. All-out defense now, of course, only affecting 1 attack.
Yeah.
So they cannot use all-out defense again.
Right. Not carrying through to the next attack.
Yep. A good change, in my opinion, here.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more tactical choices involved.
It does, yeah. That all-out defense might not be so obvious anymore as a choice.
Exactly. So 6 damage here into the Cavalos Death Riders. And that is 2 horses down. And healing 1 here from that troll unit. All right, that is it for fights. And now we're checking for control. We're checking to see if Katagross' ability will allow him to override the green here. Looking a little doubtful here. Depends if it's per unit or not.
Right.
And, of course, how big that bubble is. So he adds 3 to each unit.
Wow.
So he is, in fact, converting the point.
Yeah.
As it's 8, it's models wholly within 18, which
that huge,
tags them.
Huge bubble.
Yeah.
So
really big gain for Brent there.
Right.
So that will be the full 8 points. And I believe it gives him his battle tactic here of converting over a point. So 15-point turn here.
Wow, that is a huge swing of points.
Yeah, and that is something about this season here that players I think need to get used to, is the idea that 15, 20-point swings can happen in this game, but that's not the end of the story.
Right. It's only round 2.
Yep. So 15 for Brent Nuamann here. Bringing him to 23, I think.
And this was top of turn 2.
Yeah, this is bottom of 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to Terry's hero phase. So malfunctioning Laystone here. The ward is no longer an option here, but I think he's going to take the extra healing here on the D3. All right.
I think he's just debating the the keystone here.
Yep. So +1 attack, +1 attacks to everybody on the table for the trolls. Adding in those extra attacks here is really going to help, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Trogbus is going to try and activate the place of power here on that blue building.
Right. This is Trug's heal from the start of the turn, I believe. His regeneration.
Correct.
He heal 3?
Yeah, didn't heal for much, though. He's still very much on the last legs.
Oh, yeah. He's hurting. Does that strike first spell last until the next battle
Only
round?
the turn,
Just
not the
turn.
round.
All right, that's what I was thinking.
Then healing there on those Trogoths. Two CP to 1 CP for Brent Nuamann. All right, trying to banish the manifestation again with the Trog boss. Come on, Clara. Clara, can your sweet paint job help us? No. Oh.
That's 2 in a row.
Yeah.
So
that's rough.
That Shrieker spell alone is really cutting down the. Terry's really upset about that one. So rough.
Snake eyes, big old snake eyes. Trying for the crushing grip. Never mind. So.
Yeah, they just did a little backpedal to that crushing grip from Trug, I believe.
Yep. And catching up that lone Cavalos there real quick.
They did forget to do that Cavalos in combat.
Yep. So it would have done 1 wound, but it would have been healed off anyway. So
yep.
No difference in the board state.
Just a wash.
So we're back to hero phase for Terry here. We've healed. We failed to dispel, unfortunately. Hero phase now for Brent Nuamann in Terry's turn. Bottom of 2. Mortisan not in range to re-up on that strike first.
Right. I was thinking he was holding that CP. I couldn't really tell from here, but he could have been in range of the Morghast to re-up that strike first. I think that all comes back to that Trug redeploying that 4 inches backwards. Really pulls him out of that.
Every single action, every single reaction here has a consequence, and it's all about how you're using them. So Terry hesitating, trying to bring in the other Trug bus here into the Morghastapalooza here. Going through some clarifications here real quick. Let's go ahead and shout out to one of our sponsors here, Schooner Labs. Schooner Labs has an Etsy store here where they make MDF game aids for a variety of games. So whatever you need for any of your games going on, look up Schooner Labs on Etsy. You'll like what you find. I guarantee it. All right, so looks like the Trug boss is, in fact, choosing to get involved. Taking out a 2 earrings here, getting ready to go into the fight. And then the regular Trugs here coming in to reinforce. Terry lamenting that the Cavalos Death Riders there on the left have not joined us out here.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, man. Do you want water? I've got a water. Okay.
Oh, Snickers, you'll be done in 5 minutes. Right. Hey,
thank you.
Next time you knock on my door, don't sleep in your car. No, seriously.
No, the car is set up for me to camp. I got
All
a
right.
generator.
I know you're coming down. I'll sleep door. I'll just sneak in and go to bed on the couch.
So it looks like the Trugs are trying to see if they can retreat out and grab an objective. Oh, and a surprise ambush from a unit of Trugs.
Oh, wow.
Coming from out of the terrain here, just checking to see if as long as they're outside of 9 of that last Cavalos. But have to be within 3 of a terrain feature. All right, so yet another unit of Trugs on the board, and clarifying that they cannot come out of that building and onto the objective. So,
right.
And of course, the other Trug bus coming in to take on those Cavalos Death Riders here. Still very much anyone's game.
Right.
But this scrum here in the northern green sector is definitely what's going to, I think, determine a lot of the flow of the future of the game.
Absolutely.
All right, shooting phase going on here. 3 rocks from the Trogs on the left here going into the Morghasts. Hitting on 5s. 1 goes through. 2 up. 1 at -2 into here. Comes in. D3. 2 damage to the Morghast and takes it. Just 1 though. It ain't nothing.
Right.
But it ain't much.
Yeah.
All right. Time for get out your Visa and MasterCard here, folks, because it's time for the charge phase. Dingle Trog Boss ignoring the anti-charge and just charging on in anyway.
Right. He's kind of in a rough spot. If he doesn't charge, he doesn't have any output on these units this turn, and then those Trogs aren't really doing anything this turn.
And with that strike first, he might actually have a chance to at least do some major damage to those Morghast before they have a chance to hurt them back.
Right. If he's able to, he could really dump a lot of attacks into them. He's got the +1 attack from the Keystone this turn, so if he's able to choose his activation smart and get the maximum amount of high-value attacks into them, he could be able to lift. I don't know if he could kill them, but he can definitely hinder the unit a little bit more.
Yeah. And, of course, with the usual caveat of destruction and assuming your dice go with you.
Of course, the force to hit is insanely rough this edition.
Yeah, and and if anyone has access to -1 to hit, it just makes life miserable.
Right. Uphill battle already.
The Trog boss going into the Cavalos unit. On a 4-up, adding +1 to his attack here on 4. No.
Big one. But if that did happen, he would be at a huge +2 attacks in that bubble.
Yeah. It'd be massive. Ooh, there we go.
Wow.
Crushing Grip, one of the Archai.
Wow.
So before we even do so much, just auto kills one of those guys. That's absolutely right, Derek. I laugh in Shining Company. One of my favorites.
That crushing grip on the Morghast was a huge swing here because now that's that
Yes.
5 less wounds he has to kill here.
Correct. That was just 5 wounds in a single die. That's massive
Wow.
for him.
Yeah, with no saves allowed, instantly slain.
Correct. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Jeff and Terry juggling dice between each other.
Looks like Brent is
All right.
going down to 0 CP, spending his all-out defense on the Morghast for this attack.
Yeah. Well, yes,
Or
because
is this-
Trug's attacking right now,
Right.
so they're going to the last AOD here as the last desperate attempt. So 4 -3 into the Morghast, so a 4-up save here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, 12 damage going through. This is big.
Finally starting to see some damage from the trolls.
Yep. So, yep, there we go. So 1 coming in at -2, and that saves. 12 damage on the Morghasts, 5-up ward.
Oh, wow. Still cuts about half of them out.
Yeah.
Almost.
So,
Oh, looks like he failed 7 there.
7. So yeah, that's a Morghast and a bit.
Wow. Yeah, really did kill half the unit.
And then Trug healing 2.
Hopefully that's enough to keep him alive through this turn, because the
We'll
longer
see.
Trug is alive,
Yeah.
he just gets crazy after a while.
Trug all out defensing here. And an equally desperate measure to try and keep models alive.
Right.
So current CP usage here is Brent having 0 CP, Terry having 1. 1 at -3 coming here. 6s. Oh, nothing.
12 damage coming in on Trug.
12
the 5-up
damage.
Or is
And
that?
oh, no, that was
I'm sorry.
that was the Trog boss.
Yeah,
the
that
Trog
was-
boss just instantly aced.
Wow.
Oh, poor
Oh, no.
Clara. The paint job was great, Clara.
Yeah.
Couldn't save the Trog boss though.
Yeah, that was definitely the smarter choice, because swinging into something that has not hit you yet cuts
Yeah.
out on the damage you take, of course.
But it's a real Sophie's choice between those two models here of who was supposed to
Yeah.
swing first. Oh, Raka Trogots.
Just one.
Less than spectacular here.
The Morghast saved.
Saved. Oh, goodness,
Wow.
goodness.
Terry was really relying on those 3 rockets to do some more damage to these Morghast, potentially killing 1 more, maybe 2 if he got
Well,
real lucky. But
After that crushing grip and and those attacks, like we kind of got a little bit of the hype train built
right.
there.
Yeah, the hype. If the Trog boss had lived, he'd be in a real good position to smack some more Morghast away.
Yeah. Yes, Clara, meet newly painted model syndrome. Painted models do better, but not at first.
Quite the opposite.
Hopefully, Terry's shaking off all that bad luck here in this event so that Clara's Trog Boss can go on to wreak ruin here for the rest of his career. Cavalos Death Riders piling in.
Yep.
And again, aiming for the other Trog Boss. Let's see if he can kill the other Trog Boss. Aging both in a turn would be a big win for Ossiarch.
Yeah, especially without them swinging first.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nadrite weapons coming in. 3s to hit. 6s. 6s look fun. There's a couple 6s in there. It's like 3, I think.
Looks like it.
Still a pretty good crop. Now 4s to wound on the weapon, I believe. Ooh, some disappointing numbers here, but not enough to I would get concerned. $12 coming in at -1 into the Trog Boss. 12 5-up saves here for the Trog Boss. Ooh, pretty good save there. Pretty good, pretty good. So 6 damage here. 7, excuse me. Nope, 6. 6 damage here. Now the oofs.
Oh, yeah, I totally forget that the Trog Boss doesn't come stock with that ward save like the Rock Guts do. He just has
Right.
to take the damage outside of the Keystone.
Yeah. So that Laystone ability was so clutch. All right, 1 damage, so takes him to 5 wounds left. There we go. Terry taking on the fight that hasn't happened yet here.
Right.
5 guys, burgers, and fries against a single Cavalos with 1 wound remaining. This is I'm in danger .gif if I ever saw it.
Yeah. I mean, 3 rounds of combat already. This guy's been tanking, so he could miraculously live. No, not quite.
Nope. I think that horse is toast.
Right. Oh, he was rolling out the wards.
Yep. There we go.
That was an exceptional ward wall, actually, if you look at it. I think
True.
he saved about 5 out of 15, 6-ups.
That's not bad, but unfortunately
Yeah.
not enough. It would have been a heavy lift to ask his dice for that.
Definitely.
All right. Trog Boss going into the Cavalos. Let's see if he can get his revenge. 6 attacks due to the bonus. Oh. Oh, destruction.
Half and half.
2s to wound here.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Nicely, nice. Two coming through. 2d6 damage here. 5 damage. That's almost 2 horses.
Right. Wow.
That's not even
That's
a
not even a
horse.
horse.
Ward saves. Once again,
Those
the bane of
wards.
everyone's existence.
Yeah, those 5-up wards.
Yeah, healing a point after combat here. Last two rock guts here, choosing how to fight. All right, fighting into the Morghasts. Oh.
Uh-oh. Those 4s to hit. Oh.
All right, so 2. One coming through, 3 damage.
Wow.
Wow.
Even after the ward, only doing 1 wound.
Brent, go buy a lottery ticket.
For real. He is hot. Well, all those units converging onto the Morghast, I really thought they'd be really hindered, but 2 is still a lot of power coming out of that unit.
Yeah. Brent really should go buy one of those reflective blankets because I think he's on fire.
Yeah. Looks like ending up the victory points for Terry at the bottom of round 2 here.
He is going to score 8. Killed no turns reduced, so no tactics. So that will only score Terry another 8, so make it 16 to 23, making Terry the underdog, the Unterdog.
Oh, we'll see that mechanic coming in.
And Brent winning Prio here for round 3. And now that there is an underdog here, they do have the option to see if they want to shut off a pair of objectives.
That's true.
I know if I were him, I know I'd probably pick green.
Yeah, green would be an easy choice for me. That's where,
Yeah.
like, 90% of the OBR force is on those green objectives.
Right. Terry realizing he is out of places of power here to use.
Right. Do we need to remind them about the underdog, or should we let him? Do we remind them about the underdog, or do we keep going? We just let him go.
It's my philosophy that we are spectators, not
I guess so. That makes sense.
Doing some quick healing here as we go into round 3. Quick shout out here to one of our sponsors here, Ye Old Lasersmith, making the finest in wood carving art here for a variety of nerdy interests. You can also find them in store here at Metagames United Unlimited here in Springfield, Missouri. All right, so looking like, to try and give them +1 attack. Works on an 11.
Wow.
+1 attack on the Morghast is huge.
Yeah, even just 2 Morghast, that plus 3 damage attacks, such high value attacks, just really get so much value.
Right. Especially with Trug not out of the woods yet.
Oh my god, yeah.
And a little bit more healing there for the other remaining Trug boss. Strike first also now on a 9.
Yeah. The combo just keeps going.
Yep. As ironically, Brent's lost enough Morbegs to now be within the 18 needed, or the 12 needed, so.
Exactly.
All right, going to attempt to rally here on the lower right unit of Trogs here.
So you're just going from 5 to 4 CP on Terry's side, I think?
Yes, down to 4 CP on Terry's side. Not enough to bring back a Trog, unfortunately.
Oh,
here.
no. That's unlucky.
Yeah, it's a little bit much to ask for the dice here on that, but it could have happened, absolutely.
Right. Are you looking for 5 or 4 on that dice? On that dice roll?
It's a Traga, so I believe you're looking for 5.
5 wounds? Yeah. That's
5
hefty.
rally points is a lot to ask for out of Trogs. It's not unreasonable. I mean, I've seen it before, but it's also kind of crazy.
Looks like
Brent
Brent's
his
doing
options.
something. Yeah, he's really weighing his options with that bottom left Cavalos Death Rider unit has got the whole table to their advantage. Or they,
if
they
he
can
takes
really move
the
anywhere.
+2 movement for Relentless Discipline and then auto 6 runs the Cavalos, they might be able to make it over to there to that objective.
Absolutely.
What an interesting tactical game we've had here today. Well, they're considering here, we'll go ahead and give a shout out here to Deep Cut Studios, maker of fine acrylic and MDF laser tokens as well as neoprene mats for all of your gaming needs. Help bring your battlefields to life with Deep Cut Studios. Catacross backing off a little. The Morrison scooting up a little here, trying to keep his boys in the fun zone here for our Baba Yaga.
It looks like Catacross is kind of posing for that right flank to come collapsing in on him. That the Baba Yaga needs to hide from those trolls if he wants to keep getting some value, because he's not done with this game. He can still be casting for these next 2 rounds here. The Death Riders, and if the Morghast are still alive by the end, get some insane value from either one of his spells.
Exactly. Yeah, and Catacross probably doing the Kung Fu pose where he invites in the Troggoth here.
Absolutely. He's no slouch in combat.
Yep. And yes, the Cavalos are running. They get there, and they just managed to tap the blue objective.
Right. Was that an auto 6 roll, or was that?
Yes, he would have been auto 6ing it, I believe, for the second CP used, so he should be down to 2, I believe.
Wow. Just really towing in on it, taking that blue objective.
Redeploying the green Trogs here, bringing Terry down to 3 CP.
He's really trying to get onto that blue corner objective. Only rolling a 2 might be exactly
2.
enough. We're not sure.
And it's just out.
Oh, yeah.
Just on the lip.
1 millimeter away, it looks like. It's terrible. Needed that 3+ on the redeploy. Dropping Terry down to 3 CP for the rest of the round.
Just like the game we played in Scout Camp, it's a game of inches.
Yeah.
Range attack here from the Bone Tie Shrieker into, I'm assuming, the Rock Guts, and
spinning.
Spinning.
Oh, it's a 2.
Okay, it's only a 2, so 1 coming through here. Saves it. Nicely done.
Wow.
Way to go, Terry. No counter shots here. Nothing really of note, I think. Double checking here to see if Trug's abilities are an aura or a pulse effect.
Right.
While they're doing that here, we'll give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Baron of Dice. Baron of Dice are the leading producer of resin-casted dice for wargaming skills. You can find them in a variety of colors and symbols here for almost any faction you can think of, whether you're playing in Warhammer, Star Wars Legion, Star Wars Shatterpoint, or even Marvel Crisis Protocol. Check them out at baronofdice.com.
Yep, and the Lee Stone is just a pulse, so it lasts until the start of your next turn. So that +1 attack does last, even if he goes down, I believe.
So Trug lives, doesn't live, doesn't matter. +1 attacks are still running around here.
Right.
Taking a quick picture there. Make sure you hashtag that. Bone Tie Shrieker is going to try and charge in here. See if it can get mixed into the fray. Nope, choosing not to, which honestly I think is smart.
It's a smart move because you don't want to give your opponent a way to kill your endless spell.
Exactly.
Take away your debuffs.
The mediocre attacks it has will not be worth the idea of getting punched to death.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Failing to Crushing Grip, I believe.
How crazy would it be for a second Crushing Grip to come out?
Oh my goodness, it was so good. So they're running through some quick math here, trying to make sure. All out defensing with Trug here, that bringing Terry down to 2. See if we can deny it. Ooh. And did not deny it. Oh.
Yeah. Looking for that sneaky 5-up, but it's definitely worth a try.
Yep, absolutely. All right. out attacking here with the Morghasts.
Yeah.
That bring Brent down to 1.
Really swinging home with the Morghast. They have to kill Trug here.
Again, yeah, as we had predicted here, the center is kind of figuring out how the rest of the battle goes. And Don yelling like a drunken animal here in the background.
Looks like he got picked up 1 explosion there.
Yep. Got one of the convert, but ooh, there's a couple of duds in the damage roll. 6 at -2 into Trug. Oh.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. 18 damage. And Trug goes down.
Yeah.
Trog boss here, the remaining hope here. The remaining significant hope, I should say, for the Trogoths. As Rockgut Trolls are not without their own goodness.
Yeah, they're really looking for that support, but maybe they can pull something out. They're still +1 attack for until this, I guess, until the end of this turn, or until the next turn, of course.
Terry seemingly giving himself an F for the game.
Right. And then, of course, that would strike first on the Morghast, so he's going into his true activation into the Death Riders, swinging into that Trog boss, trying to pick him up before he can swing, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Even Brent telling Terry he has to tank this. You don't have a choice. You have to do this.
Yeah, if that boss lives, really the boss is the only thing holding on because, I mean, the Death Riders will just pick apart the Rock Guts alone, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think so. 3's to hit here. So look for those explosions. And
it's quite a few, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, bring back 6 more hits.
So many.
All right, here comes Brent's wound roll, 4 ups. Not the best, not the worst.
Right.
Yeah, Connor, you're absolutely correct here. But Trug's still dead, so I think it's a wash here tactically.
Right.
But you are technically correct, which is, of course, the best kind of correct.
That's true.
All right, 5 damage into the Trog boss. 6 wounds remaining on that Trog boss. We got the hooves coming here, and then finally Terry gets to play this game. At least the hooves are not Naderite weapons.
Right. No Naderite hooves.
Yeah, GW, if anyone's listening there, please never do that. And that 1 wound coming in here. Fails to save, and it goes down to 5 wounds remaining.
Finds the mark. Trusty hoof.
All right, so. And then 1 horse, of course, going into the Rock Guts here due to range restrictions. 1, no rend here into the Rock Guts. Rock Guts still can't make a save to save their lives. And there's the ward, though. Spoke too quickly. All right, 2 going into the 2 blue in the center here, going into the Morbeg Knights. Not Morbeg, excuse me, Morghast.
I think he's going in the Death Riders, or is he swinging into?
No, these are the two blue Rock Guts here. And there we go, several hits going through. There we go.
Yeah.
Terry's dice seemingly late to the match in the drive-through. Finally get here with an Egg McMuffin.
That's right.
2 saves, 2 go through. That is 6 damage into a Morbeg Knight. That's possibly one of those little bastards down.
Right. Oh, those 5 up.
2 saves, 4 damage.
4 is enough to pull
but it's 2 on him, so yeah, there we go. A lone Morbeg Knight remains.
Yep.
All right, Trog Boss now going into these Cavalos Death Riders. Let's see if he can get his revenge. And, oh, there we go. There we go.
It's better than what we've seen. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There we go. 4 at -2 into these Death Riders. All 4.
Wow, 46 damage.
4d6 damage.
The potential.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Healing D3 here, and now we're seeing the ward rolls here for all the damage into the Cavalos. That's a lot of dead horses.
Wow.
That is 4 dead horses. Someone called the glue factory.
Yeah, that Trog Boss really holding in there with the regeneration. Every time he swings in every combat, he's really stuck in there, just brawling it out. I can really see him winning that combat over the course of the game if nobody comes to support the OBR. I think Catacross might have to make a move here. It really turns out that the OBR is kind of, you know, over the course of 5 rounds, they just can't hold up, or they don't have the recursion as the Trogs do, surprisingly.
Yeah, a lot of the recursion pieces here, like the Gothazar Harvester, are very specific in how they're applied. As we saw here yesterday on Dan O'Day versus Yancey Aviles Bofil's match. So,
looks like Brent's counting up his score.
Yep, Brent's counting up his score. And he's killed one of the treasures here, of course, with being Trug. And Terry's just realizing here that he can turn off a pair at the start of the round. So, yep, would have been huge if he could turn off those greens.
Right.
But so it's another 15-point turn, I believe, here for Brent.
Because he killed the treasure, is that what?
Yes, because the treasures are on all 3
That's
heroes.
right.
So every time a hero dies, it's another treasure. Yeah. All right, so Terry's turn to get a little revenge. Healing D6 on the Trog. Only 1.
It's something. It's really adding up here.
It's not nothing.
Yeah, the Death Riders are not getting any ground on that guy's wound pool. It's just kind of remaining stagnant after the heals.
Yep, not much to say on the hero phase here. Well, so quickly discussing there an option here. Okay, anything on the hero phase here for Brent is the question. Brent's going to go ahead and pass with his lone remaining CP. And we're going to go move here. And so the Rock Gods, fresh off their victory of the Cavalos Death Riders, looking for a little more bony blood.
Yep. It looks like they're going down the bottom route, really just challenging Catacross on this objective. They really just need to take that green one at this point, since it's kind of leaning towards the Trogs in the top half, the top half green objective rather. The Trogs are starting to remove all the OBR models, gaining that control score back.
It's cost them a lot though in the process.
Oh yeah.
Terry's showing off that he has fancy tools and likes nice things. As that blue template widget here that was just passed off is something offered, and that Terry was politely but firmly refusing, as he can 3D print his own tools, comma, thank you. So moving into the purple scenario, the purple objective here. The green trolls are actually going to reshuffle here a little bit, deciding to have ran. Once again, being teased about a 6-inch.
Finally,
The 6-inch measurement, the gentleman's 9-inch ruler, if you believe it. Brent doing everything he can to try and help his opponent out, including just giving him tools. Yeah. Players are absolutely acknowledging what a slugfest this has been so far. What a great game of just honest-to-goodness Warhammer. The redeploy is being done, so moving into the shooting tanks. Let's see how many rocks we can huck at the big bony man. 4 are in range. Oh, just one coming in, maybe. No!
On the 1.
What an intercept. All right, so looks like, in fact, it is time for charges. Rock Guts, 8. Moving 8 should be able to get him there, I think. 8's got him. Yep, he tripped, absolutely. Absolutely, Captain. What a guy. Trugs just kind of coming in here and saying hello.
Right.
See if they can move in.
Really trying to use that control score. Are they're 2 a model, their control score? Or are they just 1 per? I believe so. I'm just hoping. I'll double check.
But remember that Catacross, because he adds 3 to his own, will be worth 8 control points.
That's right. He gets that +3. Yeah, the Trogs are 2 per, so he does have the slight advantage if he doesn't end up losing any Trogs in this combat.
Big if true has been the
Yeah,
theme for today here.
Catacross has quite a few attacks coming out.
And Terry's record on saving has not been great.
Right.
All right. 4 is to attack here. Ooh. Yes!
Yeah,
yes!
right.
There we go!
We need these to connect.
Yeah.
Oh, drops a few, man.
Oh.
So rough.
4 still respectable. Let's see if we
Yeah.
can punch through that armor, though. That Ossiarch armor. Only 1 coming through. Just 3 damage. Taking 2, even if just 2 of them add insult to injury. Only 2 damage to Catacross.
Right. They gave it a good try.
That is a big oof.
Uh-huh.
Just grabbing a quick pile in here retroactively.
Right.
Not a big deal.
I think the Morghast up top is going into, before he gets smashed off the table, swinging into the smaller unit, hopefully getting rid of them before they can hit the Death Riders, or vice versa, hit the Morghast in return.
Exactly here. 3 hits, no explosions. 2 wounds. -1s here, so he needs 5s. Both go through. 6 damage into the trolls. 6 upward, though. And not quite Yahtzee, but at least 2. So 4 damage going through.
Wow.
Not enough to lift 1, though.
Wow, that's actually, yeah, the 2
Crucially.
6s there are really huge. Saves you like 3 attacks about.
Mm-hmm. All right. Terry choosing to punch the horses. We're going to do Shepherd of Destruction here real quick just to see if. Yep.
Yep.
Plus attacks here. Paid off, and all 4 go through. 4 at -2 into the horses. 9 damage coming into the horses. Let's see what happens here. So it can't kill the unit. Saving 2. 2 dead. Oh. Killing 2 horses. That'll get you kicked out of a petting zoo. And the Trug's giving a slow march here to being healed.
Pretty sneaky here, but I'm not sure, but the Death Riders might be pulled out of combat after he killed so many. I'm not really sure. We'll have to put a 3-inch down, but
it's possible.
Yeah. Looks like the Death Riders going into the smaller squad of rockets up on the green objective.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right. There's an explosion on the Nadrat weapon. Three at 0 rend here. 4 up save.
Straight to ward. Wow.
2 going through, and that just killed one of those
That will peel
trolls.
the 1, yeah. Oh, wow.
Oops. Ooh.
Savage horses.
Hit with horses. 1 wound, okay. All right, finally, Terry making this an armor save. Moot point, it seems, here, as he still gets the pile in here, so he'll be able to punch him. Hopefully polishing off these Cavalos.
Ideally. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
There we go. There we go. Good, 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 good. Ooh, could this be Night for the Night Knights?
It could be. Oh. Uh-oh. Only D6 damage. Wow, he really needs to max out.
Only 2. Only 2.
Wow.
But at least he
is making the progress. He's healing
killed
up.
one,
He's
though,
almost. I think he's almost full health again.
Yep.
Yeah, that boss on that red side is really putting in the work for Terry
Absolute
here.
MVP for this match for Trolls
Yeah.
for sure.
He has dealt with it and taken out so much. Is he spending? There was some debate whether Brent was going to use Spymaster on this all-out attack, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. But Brent's saying, I'll just let you have that one. Catacross going into the Trolls here, 3s and 3s. Two coming in. 3 at -2. It's only -2 on this. And all at defense, so.
That's right.
Should be 5 ups here. And Terry at least made one of them. 5 up ward here. 6 up, actually. Excuse me. Yep.
Right.
Nightmare Shrieker.
Looks like 3 damage so far.
2.
2 damage.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, he's counting down, so it's.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So it is 3 damage.
Well, the companions did not really do much.
Oh boy.
1 explosion. Maybe the roll looked a little worse.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of ones is what it is.
I don't know what they were busy doing, but. 3s to wound here. And 3 coming through. 3 at -1. And 2 come through. So 2s and 6s. There's 1.
Halfway there. When will it stop? No one knows. Oh my god, oh my god. I swear I could have saw it there for a second.
Shield coming in here.
Wow.
Nothing on the shield. Massive. Massive.
Wow.
They live and they take the points.
That is huge.
Those 3 Trogs here. Let's see if they can kill that Morghast. Or maybe they're also trying to kill the Cavalos. So all out of 3 going in here. All out attacking here. Spymaster doesn't allow it.
Exactly.
Yeah, Nightmare Shrieker is absolutely getting massive value,
Yeah,
paying massive dividends in this match.
The Shrieker alone, Terry tried to shut it off 2 times, failing on like a 3 and a 2 value of roll. So it just got so unlucky trying to banish this endless spell.
What a boss of a manifestation in this match.
Yeah.
So 5 at -2 into the Morghast.
This might be it for the Morghast. If he tanks this, he holds the point. If he doesn't, the Trogs win the point.
2 come through. 6 wounds. That could be it.
Could do it. He's got this nice ward, though. Oh.
Saved only 1.
Wow. So close.
Oh.
Wow. Extremely close game.
Once again, I can't believe those things are 6 health.
Yeah, dude. You'd really think.
Whew. Yeah,
For
it would
those who
have
don't
been a
know,
major upset.
this was a huge swing. If the Trogs managed to push that Morghast off the objective, they would have claimed control of both of the green ones.
Correct.
And had that would have been a huge swing for them.
Yeah. That would have turned them into owning 4 and being able to get a full point-to-point turn.
Right.
All right. So 3-3 here, so it's going to only net Terry 8. Unless he completed one of his tactics. I don't believe he has.
I don't think he's had the opportunity.
So 43-24. Prio for round 4.
Going to Brent
And
again, keeping
Brent
the orders
again.
the same.
Yep. So Terry with 5 CP, Brent with 4.
Terry the underdog still, and then Terry is now debating if he wants to utilize the underdog ability, or the twist rather, to shut off a pair of colored objectives on the table.
And Terry choosing not to shut off any of the objectives.
Yeah.
Hey. Say what you will about Terry, but he believes in the heart of the cards.
He does,
Or
yeah.
dice doesn't matter.
You know, I will say I thought Terry should have shut him off the previous round, but after seeing how the combats landed, I really think he made the correct choice fighting for those 2 objectives now.
Absolutely. So this is top of round 4. All of the abilities have been shut off here. Trogs are just are unable to mitigate a lot of the madness of
Right.
OBR's forces right now.
Yeah, there's not much left for utility-wise on the Trog side, just the one Trog boss. He does have that Shepherd of Destruction that's really going to put in some work here, but he's got this huge block of trolls tying up Catacross at the bottom. So if he's able to clean up with everything else on the table, he should be able to converge on Catacross or just maybe even beat him down over time. He's only got this round and the next round, of course, so we'll have to see how he wants to score his points.
Yep, we'll have to take a look here and see what happens. Looks like we're casting some spells from the Baba Yaga. All right, so Shatterstorm here. So he was going to do roll to see if he can do some mortal wounds to the troll unit. And if he can then turn around and use that energy to heal a Morghast, excuse me. 1 damage into the trolls, 6 up ward. No. Goes to 1.
He was really hoping to roll a 2 or more damage there to get that heal off for the Morghast.
Exactly.
he throw out a Soul Guide there? Is that what I missed?
I don't recall what his spell was that he cast. I don't recall Brent's spell.
I'm sure we'll find out.
We'll take a look. Yes.
Just the last spell. Just the last. Oh, +1 attack. It looks like that +1 attack was going out.
+1 attack. There we go. There we go. Really valuing that over Nidrite weapons. All right. So the Bony Baba Yaga running.
All right. Really just getting away from stuff.
Just scooching over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Try and stay out of the path of consolidation here.
Right. Wow.
The horse is going to fall back.
Taking 3 mortals,
Taking 3
though.
mortals. This could be...
Oh, wow. He saves 2, only taking the 1 wound. Taking 1 wound on the retreat. That was almost an uh-oh moment.
Yep. Getting the heck out.
That's huge because the Trogs do not have the movement to catch that guy. And probably
Correct.
not for the rest of the game. He's going to get some rallies off going.
Yeah.
And I believe
probably come around next round and try and tag the final red there.
Right. Does that affect his Terry's battle tactic in any way? Does he have to kill a unit to?
If it is one of his treasure units, and I believe that unit is.
Right. That's one of the treasures.
Or let me get my phone out.
Big risk, big reward there from Brent. Right. Looks like it's more Cavalos here coming in fresh from seizing the blue subjective to...
Right. Yeah, so around round 4, they're finally seeing some action after claiming that objective and scoring all those points for Brent. He's going to get some value out of them in combat now.
I think they've been a pretty good value to him so far. Redeploying the green trolls. Taking Terry down to 4 CP.
Right.
Moving them 4 inches.
Very good move because you gotta milk all of the movement you can out of all these units. They're kind of slow, so you've only got 2 rounds of movement left, anyways.
Exactly. Trogs need to take every inch they can get, just like my ex-girlfriend. All right, Shrieker shooting into those big unit of rat guts. Three hits. But 4s, only 1. 1 at red 1. Hey, there we go. Good save.
Derek knows what's up.
Yep. I've been asked to be nice, Derek, and I'm trying my best, but
this is nice. This is nice to we're listening to, guys.
It's true.
Only rolling a 4-inch charge here, but it is definitely enough to get in there.
All it's needed. Yep.
Yeah. Maxing out on the 3 mortals from the Death Rider's ability again.
Bro, are you mortal maxing right now?
Always.
Thanks, Derek. We love having you here.
Absolutely. Anybody in the chat, we give a shout out to you.
Ooh, a countercharge. A countercharge.
Wow.
No. Okay.
It was a debate.
Right.
Debated.
Woo. I got excited. I'm not going to lie to you.
I love to see a nice countercharge. It's just,
Yeah, it would have been.
It's a hard one, yeah.
I think it would have been smarter for him to have countercharged into the Shrieker, though.
Yeah, I could see that being a play because you could just throw that Trogboss down to or into Kratikos, really just get rid of that. And then your ward returns on the
Right.
Rock Guts for that final round. You really don't go anywhere at that point.
All right, so Cavalos Death Riders coming in first. Terry's considering the path forward. And he's going to all-out defense here on the purple Trogs.
Right. He's debating it. I think the Spymaster may come in. Not quite. Oh, I think they're just letting it ride.
Yep. So here's a whole bunch of Rend 1 weapons coming on in. 3s to hit, 6s are funny. There's a little bit of a chuckle in there.
One explosion.
I think, yep.
Oh yeah, Captain Julius, you're ready now. The finale's up soon, I swear.
Yeah.
We're getting to the resolution here.
Yep. Starting wrapping the Pop-Tarts now because you'll want that jelly filling for the end. $12 damage coming into the Rock Guts. So there's 5, 8 total. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, that was good saves on 6s. But 8 damage.
But yeah, 8 damage plus the 2 he'd already had.
That
means
that's
that he
2 whole
kills
Trogs.
2/3 of the Trogs,
Wow.
and that's rough.
Yeah, that's a
Rough
lot
times.
less attacks.
Rough times at Ridgemont High there.
These are the hoops.
One at 0 Ren coming in here, and nope, 1 damage. And got it on the ward save.
Very nice.
And Shepherd of Destruction here. There we go, giving
Gets
it
it off.
to the Trogs.
Yep, the +1 attack continues.
More gas than Catacross have yet to go, so he's going to fight with the Purple Troll. All out defensing on the Morghast. There we go. Hits on 3s because of the all out attack.
Oh, man.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's a tragic turn.
Oh, and that
Looks like-
actually kills the
they
Morghast
got enough.
finally.
He got exactly
Last
enough.
point squeaked through. Healing 1 point here as opposed to the fight, or 4 points, excuse me, for the fight.
Wow.
And that is one of the treasure units.
Yeah, that was one. Yep. They needed to kill that Morghast for sure. But just the amount of models the Morghast took down in return is insane.
I know because of their flight ability here, some people were kind of down on them this season, but honestly, I don't see the love stopping anytime soon.
Right.
All right, looks like we were doing Catacross. Two at -2 into the Rock Guts. Six damage coming into the wards on the Rock Guts. Oh, yep. One dead Trug clean. Not Trog, excuse me. Wrong vowel.
Right.
And next wounds coming in here. Ooh. 4 at -1, so 4 at 4. All right, that's statistically appropriate, I guess. 2 goes through, so that just takes 1 more. Once again, that Screamer just displaying raw value. Catacross's shield coming in here. 2 hit. And no wounds.
Wow. Yet again, the shield is not performing.
Yeah, it's defensive. It's a defensive tool, really.
Right.
All right, so blue rock guts going into Catacross. 4's the hit, and
Wow,
there's some good ones.
Very good roll.
Nice.
Wow,
And
all wound.
5.
wounds.
5 big ones into Catacross is dangerous. Ooh. 12 damage into Catacross.
Huge spike.
Yep, let's take a look at this ward. Let's see what happens. Saving 3 of them. 9 damage. Almost half of Catacross.
That's quite a hefty chunk to take out of Catacross at once.
11 wounds into Catacross here. Boy, now bracketed here, some of his posse have decided they've got better things to do with their life all of a sudden. Healing 3 damage here on the Trogs after combat. And that's everything, I believe. That's all she wrote for the fights. So another treasure is scored for Brent. And there we go. Brent Nuamann now at 56. 24 here, but Terry's looking actually pretty set up here for his own power turn.
Right. The board state for Terry, he's in a good position. His Trog boss is free, and he's got it looks like one lone rocket that's free as well up in the green objective.
Yep. Bright blue is definitely open to taking offers here, as is the Trog boss. And don't forget the green down here in the corner.
That's right. The green can come in and support. Probably easier to support in the middle where Catacross is standing. Really just either get the control value on that green objective and lock out Catacross, or get more damage on him as well. He's really taking a beating down there.
At this point, you have to think that even a god can tremble when you look at Catacross' situation.
Right. No, Catacross does not like the idea of seeing these 6 rock guts, surrounding him like those.
Yeah, it's an awful lot of Shrek. And we have an inappropriate explanation as to what we're doing in their swamp. Rallying the Cavalos in the north there. 2 points, which just kills his remainder here. Just hanging out there, having fun. That's it for Brent's hero phase. So moving into Terry's movement here, as we are in the bottom of 4. Terry considering the merits of merely punching magic to death.
Right. I think ultimately he's trying to go for that last treasure unit up top here that he retreated from.
Perfectly rational, but I have to wonder is that a good use of your resources?
It's hard to tell. You've got
it's debatable.
You've got such little amount of models left on the table. It's hard to know where to allocate them exactly.
Yeah. Every decision is tough here. I'm not jealous for Terry right now.
Right.
So measuring out here to see. They're going to run the Trogs.
Wow.
5. Nicely done.
Very
nicely
good
done.
Run. Yeah. It's probably get at least 1 on the objective and bumping that control
there you
score
go.
Up. Almost.
Done, grunting like some kind of pig in heat. That's all right. He didn't hear it, folks. It doesn't count.
Right.
Currently tied for objectives, which will unfortunately not flip it.
Right.
So we will have to do the old-fashioned unthinkable here and actually just kill Catacross if we can. Shooting phase. Both out of combat, so they're both hucking rocks into the Cavalos unit there. Oh, hit. Could be a thing. No. Pointing out that technically because of the bonus from the Soul Mason, Catacross's actually control score is 10 currently, so.
That is huge. That's more than that's. Oh no, my.
Oh no! Terry's re-rolling using a CP here for that charge.
Yeah, he has to. He needs this charge. Oh no!
No goodness! Oh, what in the heck! Oh.
Oh my gosh, Terry.
Jose Spinoza.
Art, no.
Going from a 3 to a 2. And he was waiting on he's sitting on a +3 charge once per game. Chose not to use it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a feels bad.
Yeah, that feels terrible.
2 CP left for Terry.
That's
rough.
The dice. That's terrible, yeah. Because now the Trog is just hanging out. The Death Rider's just gonna walk away for free now. And not to mention the Death Rider has the treasure piece for five victory points tonight.
Yeah. That is just rougher than a slap fight with sandpaper. All right, Terry taking a moment here to compose himself. And seeing here if there's any other charges here available. Brent's trying to have fun here. Shiver Destruction does not go off. So fighting with the 3 Rock Guts here. All out attacking. Catacross is all out defensing. Does not Spymaster it out. Spymaster might be dead.
Oh, yeah.
So 3s to hit here.
Oh, man.
Terry, what happened? 2's the wound. All right, at least both go through there. And both go in. That's 6 more damage.
6 damage.
6 more damage.
It's all adding up to him. Wow.
Saved 3, takes 3. It's 14 wounds out of 20.
I can really see Catacross going down here in round 5, possibly.
Yeah. Those green trolls not being able to quite get in there.
Right.
Super tough for him. All right, Cavalos here wanting to try and do some work. Piling up here to the purple and blue. Trying to make sure they don't drag in that other troll by accident. That's right, Captain. He will survive. All out defending here into the purple troll. Just a bit short there on that charge. Man, it's killing him. So 3s to hit and a couple explosions going there. All right, 4 ups to wound here. -1, so 4 up save here. There we go. There we go.
Not bad.
Very
not
respectable. 4 damage go through. 6 up ward. There we go. Saving 2 of
bad.
them.
Wow, 2. He actually lived that. But
Yep.
we do have the hooves coming through.
Yeah, Brent needs a heck of a hoof run here.
Right.
No hooves. No hooves.
That was crazy. Wow.
Lame horses.
One Trog just stopped him.
Yep. And then he's just got the one trog back here. That's snake eyesing the attack roll.
Damn. I gotta admit, the amount
But
of
at
snake
least
eyes
he
that
heals
come out of
Q3.
Terry this game is like, I think we're up to 3 or 4 at least.
Right. He's definitely gonna. Again, if you want to send money to feeple@gmail.com, you want to send PayPal, so that will go to a new dice for Terry.
Right.
Two at -3 against them. 6 damage just going straight through here into a 6 up
no.
ward. Uh-oh. That is, in fact, another troll. Everything hit here. Real quick shout out to Monster Fight Games. Good games and accoutrement for gamers. And wow. Dancing Queen of Dice over here.
Yeah.
All right. 7. 7 at -2. Oh. 6 whip ward here. Nothing doing. Another dead troll. Last troll sitting on 2 wounds.
Cataco's just really carving through that unit over time, but
Yeah.
he is paying for it. So hopefully that green unit might be able to come through in the last round.
True. Hey, the shield actually hit a couple times.
Oh my gosh, the first time.
So 4 damage. 4 damage into the wards here. He needs no.
Cleaned him up exactly.
Yeah. Catacross feeds himself from combat only to stare at yet another unit of trolls.
He's ready for him. He's been practicing now.
That's true. So it looks like score is still only. Yeah. So he's gonna be 13, I think. As I don't think he's got another tactic that he's scored. So it should just be a 13-point turn here. $37-56 here into round 5, the final round
Final
here.
round. The
It is
finale.
possible. It is possible for Terry to turn it around.
Terry wins
Terry
the roll-off.
possibly with the steal,
He could swap it.
but if he doubles, he kills the treasure. But if he doubles it, debating it here, and yes, if he does double them, he will be underdog. He is, however, 11 points behind, which does allow him for a certain benefit. Both players just kind of agreeing that if Catacross dies, it's Pyrrhic victory here.
Right.
So Terry taking the double turn,
Yeah.
putting Brent at 5, Terry at 4.
Right. Really good option because Terry has the opportunity to grab the remaining treasure on the table, right? I believe. And that's going to be a huge point swing as he's able to pick those up.
Yep. Catacross sitting there, basically worth 10 VP.
Right.
Some Trogs are going to go ahead and choose to rally here. Oh, right. So there we go. Down to three points there. Shout out to Art of War Studios here, making our fine acrylic plastic tokens here, and accoutrement solutions here for any wargame you might think of. All right. So he's rallying Catacross. Oh no, this could be bad. Healing 3. Back to 11 wounds. Second CP spend now to try and magically intervene. Trying to cast First Strike on Catacross to even further discourage the charge. Yes, Derek, I believe that's correct. I believe the 11-point under here only allows an underdog to ignore the no Battletech score part of going double here. I will double check on that, but I believe that's how that currently works. Terry and Brent having a quick discussion here and agreeing to talk things out here rather than actually making the dice go through here. Yep, thank you, Derek. So they are just having some quick meta commentary, but yes, game is more or less over here. Definitely in a Brent Nuamann victory, as it conceded. Well, they're scoring 8 each, so. But anyway, the point of the match still resolved. What a great match! Complete slogfest, back and forth.
Gosh. Yeah, there was a couple times during this game where I thought one side had it over the other, but they just came back and just kept grinding down to like 1 models per unit, or just fighting each other to the end.
Back and forth here. Crazy, crazy times. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we will come back with the final round of the Summergeddon Super Slam Series.